Well, for more on the story now, William Assanvo is a senior West African researcher with the Institute for Security Studies. He joins us via Skype from Dakar, Senegal. William, thank you for joining us. Security, we understand, was very tight in view of the September attempts to thwart a planned election with a coup. Is this how it has been since September, and is it going to change anytime soon?
Yes, you are right. The security was a concern before the election. As you rightly pointed out, there was the September 2015 military coup attempt, but with the dissolution of the former regiment of the presidential guard, and with the detention of several of the military figures, including the General Diendere, who was responsible for the coup, the security has kind of improved. The security feeling between the political actors that there was clearly no security threat, or everything has been put in place to prevent any security incident from happening. And besides this, the threat posed by the former presidential guard, you also have a terrorist threat. You know that Burkina Faso is in the Sahel region, with a neighborhood, with a border with Mali. There has been some incident over the past 2 weeks, and the government, the Burkina Faso government, ahead of the election, deployed more than 25,000 security and defense troops personnel to prevent any incident from happening. So we may say that the security environment was kind of improved.
Very good. Now, you have analysts who say that this is a step in the right direction with polls, especially in regard to security, because you have to note that the country has been plagued by coups since 1960.
Yes, actually, these elections are quite historic. It's the first time that a president democratically elected will be democratically elected. Since the independence of the country in 1960, there have been several military coups, and almost each of the presidents that has been in place were military. And right now, with this election, we are going to have a civilian president that was democratically elected. So it's really an historic moment.
Now, what's the latest regarding the release of the results?
The Electoral Commission announced that they are going to release the result at something around 11. But what we know right now, the counting is still going on. But so far, the votes out of 240 electoral municipalities out of 368 has been released, and apparently it's the Roch-Marc Christian Kabore who is so far leading the poll with something like 44%, followed by Zéphirin Diabré with 229%.
So now you have 14 presidential candidates. Are you able to talk to us about the leading front-runners whom analysts have been punted?
Yes, the first one is Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, who is the candidate of the movement for the People's Movement for Progress. He has been a key figure of the former regime before he left the Congress for Democracy and Progress in January 2014. He has served as the ministry. He has been the leader of the former presidential party. So he stayed with that regime for more than 30 years. And the second one is Zéphirin Diabré. Zéphirin Diabré also collaborated with the former regime. He has been a minister for trade, minister for economy and finance. He has also been a member of the parliament under the former ruling party. But he left that party late 1990s, and he created his own party around 2010. And he was elected as a deputy, as a member of the parliament under that party. He has been the leader of the political opposition for for quite a long period.
Now you have a nation of 18 million, yet only 5 million people have been registered to vote. Is this the highest that could be registered, or are there other reasons for this number?
No, actually, there were some disappointment when the electoral register was revised to allow more people to register and to be allowed to vote. There was some disappointment because the amount of people who actually registered was fewer than what was expected. There was also a poll that was published a couple of days ago that clearly shown that there seems to have Burkina Faso people seem to have lost faith in the power of the ballot as a means to express and to realize their expectation. So they kind of favor protestation of rising. So this may be also an illustration of the fact that we have very few people who register to vote. And actually, we don't know yet how many people actually voted.
Now, there are politicians who supported former President Blaise Compaore's third term have been excluded from the polls. Is this going down well with them?
Yes. The former presidential party, the CDP, its candidate was barred from contesting, and they have been contesting that decision. They have been contesting the provision of the new electoral code that prevents them from contesting. They have done it politically, diplomatically. They have also brought the case to the ECOWAS Court of Justice, but none of these attempts clearly succeeded in having them being allowed. So we also saw behind the September 2015 military coup an attempt by some of them to have these provisions revised, but unfortunately for them, this was not the case. So they still represent a threat, to the upcoming authorities.
William, what about those arrested elite army leaders who are close to former leader Blaise Compaore, who tried to seize power in September? Where are they now?
Yes, some of them are in detention. The General Dendera is in detention. There's also the General Djibril Bassole, who was also a former member of the cabinet of the former regime. So there are several people who are currently in detention, awaiting their trial, and with judicial process ongoing, investigations ongoing. You also have some of them who are on the run, particularly member of the former presidential guard. Some of them are on the run. And also, some of the political figures of the former regiment are also of the former political ruling party are also on the run outside Burkina Faso.
William, finally, what happens with Mr. Compaore going forward?
Say it again, please.
What happens now with Mr. Compaore going forward?
Yes, I think Compaore right now is in exile, reportedly in Côte d'Ivoire. And I think that what will be one of the challenges for the next government, the next authorities, will be to reconcile the political class, not to allow the former ruling party to feel itself marginalized. So that will be a real challenge for the next government, to try to reconcile the political class and to allow the former ruling party to express itself and to have its political liberty respected.